Hey, how you doing this fine day? We are going to do a deep dungeon duet. It's going to be two of us, me and a friend of mine from Final Fantasy, Miyuki Kamiya. I think I said that right. Yeah. Wow, really proud of myself. I'm usually pretty bad at saying names correctly. But if I didn't, please let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to just keep saying Miyuki Kamiya and consistently get it wrong. So for this first video, just let me know if I'm saying it right or wrong. Just let me know. Any case, so what I wanted to do here was I was doing some solo dungeons with Deep Dungeon and things like that. I was doing the whole thing solo for a while, but it's so RNG based that it becomes somewhat hair-pullingly stressful to try to do it. You got to get the perfect Pomanders all the time to be able to do it, and showing people videos of that, I think it's cool, but then again, it almost sort of kind of points out a thing, whereas it's very feasible to do. Like if you see some people do it in some videos and you think, hey, they did it, I can do it. Sometimes those videos can be somewhat misleading in a sense where it seems like because someone else was able to do it means you'll have just that much luck to do it. Personally, for me, it's been pretty difficult to be able to do Deep Dungeon with the best RNG all the time. It's really tough. So to cut down on all the RNG that you typically don't see when you play when you see really good videos of Deep Dungeon or whatever, I'm going to basically do this with two. Me and a ninja. Her and I have done some fun things, I think, in the past, and so we're gonna come in here and do this as a duet, a two-person team. So it's basically Dark Knight and Ninja coming in here. Dark Knight and Ninja are gonna come here, and we're gonna destroy everything in the Deep Dungeon. Just gonna go through the whole thing and just destroy it. The cool thing about doing this two-player, and the reason why it's not such a bad idea either, is because it's still as challenging, because if you hit a lure trap, some of those lure traps can be devastating, absolutely devastating to the party. And even with 4 players, you go on this with 4 players, some of the lure traps can literally kill off the whole team, just because if it lures like a bunch of slimes or something and you're not able to kill it fast enough, your team's going to go down. Most of the time people come in here and do this, if you come in with a random team and you like hit a lure trap a bunch of slimes, almost nobody's going to use the item to witching the whole enemy whatever, to turn them into chickens. Most of them aren't going to do much of anything, just fight. So usually when I come in here, I try to play somewhat strategic in a sense where it's like, okay, someone just hit a luring trap, let's use the witching, knock it out. Or if someone actually does do a witching, then I'll turn into a succubus if we have one, and burn them with vulnerabilities, if they're all stacked up. Because a lot of people come in here with 4-man groups thinking that you need to have a succubus to kill the boss. With 4 people, you don't even need it. You don't need the succubus at all for the bosses. You don't need them at all. Bosses die so fast. Even with even if whether you do the succubus on the boss or not, they're gonna die so fast with 4-man mode. It probably would make a little more sense here with 2 players to do it like this. And the reason why I think this is gonna be more fun because I'm actually able to do it with somebody. It's still is challenging. I don't have to worry about getting the perfect Pomanders. I don't have to always have a Pomander of Strength, always have a Pomander of Steel, always have a Pomander of Sight, or always have a Pomanders of Rage. I don't always have to have those. With this, having an extra person kind of sort of gives you that in a sense to maybe half a degree more, versus just going in solo. And solo is pretty stressful, just because the fact is you have to burn up about 60 minutes worth of your time, hope that it all ends up turning out well enough that you're able to, get the right perfect RNG to make sure everything works out for you. So it's You could try it as, I think some classes can do it a little better solo than others, just because of certain actions that you get at a certain level. Some actions you get, if you get stronger actions at earlier levels, that will help you through certain levels. Like the later one that I would be doing right now, you really need, because Soul Eater gets more powerful and heals you up more at a certain level because of a trait, and that works with dark arts. So there's 3 different parts about Soul Eater that make it so much more powerful, and you got to be at a certain level to make that actually work the best for you. I think it's what is it, 47 or 48? It's one of those levels, but it's I think it's probably 48 or maybe 49. I don't remember off the top of my head. I'm trying to think about the traits. I don't remember what level the traits are at really, but that's the hard part about Dark Knight is that you don't quite get the best of, you know, that Soul Eater Dark Arts attack until you're at that level, because then it actually gives you back the amount of hit points that you do for the attack, unless you're in Grit. And when you're coming through something like this, typically, even if I'm like out in the world, I don't put Grit on unless I'm fighting some kind of boss fight, you know, and certain bosses don't hit hard enough or often enough to use Grit, and some do. So Grit is kind of circumstantial, you know, it's kind of a sort of a circumstance as to when you may or may not need it. So that's the reason why most of the time I'll usually just go, you know, I'll just go dark side and not do Grit. And in here too, it's a little bit easier in a sense where you can kill the enemies faster. So even coming in here, you have to pretty much be more of a DPS than a tank inside here to actually get through a little bit quicker. And you got to use your cooldowns and stuff. And then Dark Arts takes time to build up to do it. And I think if they could patch something as far as Dark Arts is concerned, I think if they're going to actually patch something in the future, make something a little bit work a little bit better, make Dark Arts already built into Soul Eater, because Soul Eater is kind of a joke in a sense where it doesn't really give you back that much. I mean, you're better off doing either Delirium or your Power Slash combo if you're not going to Dark Arts it. You're going to get back a little bit of hit points, but sometimes it almost feels too trivial to even really matter. Most of the time, it really depends on how much stronger your attack is versus the enemy's attack. And if your attack is so much stronger, you can get back some hit points just for self-healing because of the stronger attack. So I don't really know, like, if it's really even super worth it unless you only just Dark Arts your Soul Eater. So if they have to patch something, if Square Enix, if you're going to watch this, which I think you do watch some of these, what I would suggest is, if you're going to make Soul Eater better, just have Dark Arts already blended into Soul Eater where you don't see any animation for it, or maybe even just, yeah, that would just take too much time. Just don't make any animation for it, just make Soul Eater work like it's on Dark Arts. But when you use Soul Eater, every single time it just drains a little bit of MP. Like if you wanted to keep the whole MP drain thing going, then just have it work like that. That way, you know, we don't have to sit here and wait through a whole ton of time with animations, you know, that most people don't really care about too much. And I'm sorry to say, but most people don't really care. You know, if you had the skill activated, like you have the skill active, you know, and then you do the animations, that could help out a lot too, because there's all these little things that you've put in with Dark Knight that you have to do this thing and then do this thing and then this thing can work. You know, that's just too much. That's too much for a game where you're kind of expecting everybody else to work in sync, and most other players will just play, you know, press one button then they're done. You know, it's like you know, black mages are just going between the fire and ice, and as long as they keep that rhythm going, it's fine. You know, but you know, it's basically just going back and forth and balancing. This is almost too much micromanagement with Dark Arts. I think Dark Arts skill alone is just way too much micromanagement with that. You know, you could have like a whole button skill where you have, let's say you made another attack that's like Soul Eater in a sense, I don't really know how you could do that though, because there's already MP drain, and there's hit point addition. Maybe if you went back to the old formula where you had some attacks with the Dark Knights actually lose some hit points to do some damage. Maybe not a lot of hit points, but just a small percentage, maybe like 5% of your hit points do some more damage or something to that degree. And it built back some MP instead. Like the toss-up was you lost MP, you lost a little more MP, or no, not lost MP. You gained some MP, and you lost some hit points, but did more damage. Maybe if you kind of like converted it into that, and you could just take away the dark side, maybe like put some kind of story behind it, like, oh, we're going to refine your Dark Knight skills, and this is what's going to happen, and yada, 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 and then, maybe something like that. That's just my opinion. If the people from Square are probably watching this, because I think you guys do to some degree. But any case, just going through this, solo as a Dark Knight tank is a bit tedious to always have to like make sure you're activating Dark Side, or not Dark Side, but Dark Arts, to do your Soul Eater, because the other two combos, you don't even get Delirium until you're 50. So I mean, if like the thing is, if I had Delirium a lot sooner, before that, it would be a lot better, because the Power Slash is good, but a 300 potency up to a 400 potency is a big difference. And if you're going to go up and the last skill you get is a 280 potency versus the one beforehand being a 400 potency, it's kind of backwards. Do you see what I'm saying? It's kind of backwards as far as the strength goes. I mean, it almost doesn't really make a ton of sense. Like, why is that backwards? Why do you get a smaller potency attack when you hit 50, when I think, you're 30, 34, and you get the Soul Eater skill, and then later on, I think you're 46 and you get Dark Side, or 44. So, I mean, you're almost like, 5 to 6 levels lower, that you have a better potency attack than you do when you hit 50. See, this is the kind of thing that, to me, it doesn't make a ton of sense. I'm not going to get really angry about it, but it just seems like when they developed it, I think they kind of like flipped some things around. I think if Delirium was sooner, where it was a 280 potency attack, plus it gives you back MP, that could help you with doing extra, Dark Passenger to some degree. I mean, to me, that would seem like the steps leading up to it would make a little more sense. Like, okay, well, you're going from 300 potency with amnesia generation to 280 potency with MP regain, where the combo of it itself is, I guess it's better than the Power Slash combo. So when you're going up in levels in the way that you go up in the tanking part of this, you go up, should be going up to Delirium first, because the combo potency of the Delirium combo is stronger than the Power Slash combo. But then you look at the Soul Eater combo, where it runs through Siphon Strike and the regular first Hard Slash, and that can go up to 400 potency. So I mean, it's like the way that it was designed was kind of backwards. They give you the middle, the mid-weight potency at the end, where they give you more of the higher weight potency in the middle, but most of it's a teaser. Most of it's a teaser in the sense that your Soul Eater is not strong enough until the trait of Soul Eater, getting to be the highest it can be, is completely fulfilled with the Dark Arts, and then you get it too. So that's all kind of teasers leading up to it, but then you get the highest potency at, I think, 48, level 48, and then 2 more levels later you get the Delirium combo, which is not as strong for potency. So I mean, I know I've been talking about that for a while, but that's kind of something I think should be fixed. I think it's kind of all around backwards and whatever. I don't know if it's possible to go and change everything now. Maybe to some degree, maybe because I know that they've changed around some combos and stuff like that. Another thing is too, for the Paladin, for the Goring Blade being on a combo system is a kind of terrible idea. I don't know if it's even worth it to really even do that at all. I'm still trying to like think. I don't know if that's even worth it to go through and put a dot on it with a combo potency that's has so much less weight to it than the Royal Authority combo. I just like I don't know if that dot is. I know that the dot. I looked at the math on the dot. It's pretty much. I think the math on the dot is either the same thing as Scourge or it's the same thing as Salt Earth. So I think it's still a decent dot, but like that's another thing. Like I'm still a little worried about. Sorry for the other people that are watching this. I'm kind of going off on tangents and talking about other things, but I don't know. This isn't really too difficult. The girl that I'm with, I think she's pretty good at doing ninja. She just said she's starting doing ninja, and she's just going through it. So, yeah, I think she's probably better than Edge, better than Shadow, better than all the other Final Fantasy characters as far as ninjutsu goes. Because, yeah, I think she's really good at it. So, yeah, so I got her with me. Not doing anything too tremendous. I mean, sometimes we are getting a little dangerously close to some lure traps and whatever, but I feel pretty confident with her. I think even if we hit some luring traps, we'll figure it out. You know, we'll get it working for us. In the sense that everything should be pretty much okay. I think she's not fully maxed out as far as her Aether Pool armor goes. I think she was telling me that. And I am, as you can see, I'm pretty much maxed out. I think I could definitely get my next weapon. I could just get this, level 135 weapon. And I like this weapon. And I could just go right ahead and get it and change out my anima weapon. But I don't know. It's only 5 points higher. I don't know if it's going to be that much better. I don't really know what the stat weights are on it. I mean, I could look at the stat weights and see. But I pretty much have one piece of accessory to get. And then if I can get my anima weapon to the guillotine phase, then I'll be completely done until whenever they decide to bring out more Final Fantasy content, you know? So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's a big deal. I don't do too many extreme things right now. I just don't. I don't see I don't see what the point is. I mean, I have to do it like 10 times over with a bunch of grumpy people that, I'm sorry, a lot of them that I meet are usually pretty grumpy or whatever. But it's like that's not really that's not my thing. It's not my thing. It's like I don't really want to. I don't know. Like I don't want to be a part of perpetual sarcasm. It's not fun. It's not fun to me. It's not that fun. I like to do things at a casual pace where I'm having fun. I'm having fun. And I'm having fun doing this. This is still challenging because we still have to be careful of traps. It's not like, it's not going to happen. And I'm trying to tank to some degree. Not overly tank. I think in some areas, I might start putting, once I get grit, I might put grit on for some attacks and things like that. If we hit a luring trap, then I'll put grit on, and I'll try to save us from all the monsters by holding them. But that's when I think I'll use my tanking mode more. But as far as like holding all the enmity on this, she's a ninja. She has evasion skills, dodging skills. It's not like I just want to throw her to the wolves or anything, but she's got skills to protect herself, and plus I'm there too. And if I see her taking damage, I'm going to start doing my enmity stuff more. Where I'm going to try to save her in that sense. But yeah, everything should be fine. You can take some damage sometimes as a DPS, and you'll be pretty much safe. I'm watching the hit points. I'm trying to make sure she's not going to take too much damage. So if there's an enemy close to death that she's fighting and it's about to die and it has aggro on her, then I'm not going to go completely out of my way to change who I'm targeting to target that monster, because if it's about to die and she's just about to kill it with one shot, then it's not going to do any more damage to her. So as far as tanking this goes, for this duet that we're doing, I'm going to do what I can to save her, but there might be situations you'd be like, well, you didn't just constantly do your aggro building thing. No, because I need to kill them fast. And the aggro building moves sometimes don't always give you the strongest attacks. Like right now, since I don't have Power Slash available, my Siphon Strike is my strongest combo. The Hard Slash to Siphon Strike is stronger than Spinning Strike. So I might do that more so. But once I get to the Power Slash combo, then I'll probably do that Enmity Regen. And not Enmity Regen, but that Enmity combo more so, because that goes through 3 different attacks, which ends up being a way more powerful attack. But if I know the enemy is close to death, and it's got like a quarter of its health left, I'll just do Hard Slash and then Siphon Strike, because Siphon Strike is pretty powerful. Should be powerful enough to just outright kill it. So that's kind of how you see me working this. Also, I did change around a lot of my macros here. I changed them around a lot. I'll make another macro video on that too, in case you want to see it. This one right here, this is basically just a hotbar set for lower dungeons. That's why you don't see me have some other commands in there and whatnot. So I don't have, I don't have the one that I would show you on the video right now, but I might include this too. This is for lower dungeons. So I have a hotbar set for lower dungeons, lower than 50, because some button combinations don't work with others because I have my Dark Mind tied to a couple other macros, a couple other skills. And if I don't have Dark Side to have Dark Mind active, the other skills are tied behind it and they're locked because I don't have Dark Mind available. It's locked behind Dark Side. And if you macro things to Dark Mind or Dark Dance, and you have something behind it, I think Dark Mind mostly just does, just works with Dark Side. But if you got things that are, behind Dark Side, and you have other macros or other button combinations tied to it, but they're behind that skill itself, or it's the second one that will activate, and you're in a lower dungeon and you cannot activate Dark Side, the macro will not fire. Don't know why, but it won't fire. That's just one thing that Square Enix had with that. And as far as making these macros go and stuff like this, one thing I basically wanted to, kind of say to a degree was, what was my train of thought? I just lost my train of thought there for a second. See, the thing is, like, I'm watching myself fight, and then I'm looking at, okay, this is where we need to go, this is what we need to do. What should we do right now? Okay. So we should fight so that we're 25 at least. That was the thing I just wanted to throw out there really quick, because doing this solo was tough enough, but you have to be a certain level to fight the boss, because then when you go to the next area, the next monsters that are up there are going to be like 24 to start. So if you're like one level higher in the next tier, things should be fine. So while I'm talking, I didn't even notice she hit the luring trap just to get more monsters in here, which makes sense. Some other floors, some other higher floors, I might suggest against it, because like the last floors or whatever, yeah, there was really no point in it. And I think they had a good idea as far as doing this deep dungeon goes, but as far as actually playing it, to see which level you should be at, an appropriate level to actually move through it and fight through it, I don't think it was designed through all the types of things. So I don't know if a healer could get through it too well. I think a tank could get through it better than a healer, because a healer doesn't have as much DPS things going for it, unless maybe, I don't know if a healer could get through it very well. I think a tank could get through a little bit better because they have a little bit more damage they can do to the enemy, more so. I think unless like you're a white mage and then you finally get holy, but I think you get that way too late. I don't remember what the level is. That might be like level 50 maybe. But yeah, I don't know if a healer could get through this too effectively well solo. I think some tanks, I think some other tanks could get through this pretty well. I think a paladin would have a pretty easy time getting through this. Paladin has tons of skills. Tons and tons of skills. A warrior, I don't know. I don't know, really. I haven't played warrior too much. I still need to level it up all the way. I know I played paladin a lot. I know paladin has a lot of skills. Dark Knight, there's just, the way that I was playing the other solo ones, it just felt like there was too many good skills locked behind higher level skills versus where I was at, and I needed certain Pomanders of, like if I had a ton of Pomanders of Rage for the last 2 sets of videos that I did, there would be no problem at all. Like if every chest dropped me a Pomander of Rage, second chest drops me a Pomander of Strength, third chest drops me a Pomander of Sight or Safety, and it just rotated like that every single time, there would be no question that you could easily come through here as pretty much any kind of job. Any job at all could do it if you had that. Constantly in a row. Strength, Rage, Safety. Strength, Rage, Safety. It just keeps rotating like that. If you had that every time, you would never have a problem in Deep Dungeon. Soloing this, ever. Guaranteed. But it's so RNG. So to make it kind of more fun to actually get through this entire thing, I've really decided, you know, I want to do this as a couple with another person. And so Miyuki decided, yeah, I'll help you out and I'll do it with you. So it was really nice of her. It's really nice of her to actually come through and do this whole thing with me. So I'm going to try to get this out today. I don't know exactly when it's going to get loaded onto YouTube because longer videos, longer uploads and stuff, you know, to get up there. But she's really kind, generous to do this, and it's really nice. And so we're going to try to get through all the floors, get to the very end. And this is kind of a fun way to do it where you can do it kind of like, you know, where when you come in here as a party, you're pretty much going to guarantee yourself to win unless people just have absolutely no coordination. You know, party's not too hard, but you come here as 2 people, this is still hard, but I don't have to worry about rages. Like I don't have to worry about getting rage all the time. Rage will help you level up so fast, it's nuts, you know, or strength. Rage, strength, safety. Safety makes it you can just literally hit the sprint button, run through floors, you know, because it all comes down to time. It comes down to a factor of, even if you're good at this game, it's really a race against time. And if you don't have enough rage, if you don't have enough strength, and you don't have enough safety, you literally don't have enough time. Because as you fight this last floor, just to level up somewhat, the faster you kill the enemies, the faster they regenerate. So the more enemies you kill, the faster they can regenerate. They're not going to necessarily regenerate fast, but what that means is the time that you have while you're doing it, you get more time to level up. And up until, I think, what is it, like if you get past like 40 or 31 to 40, once you get past 31 to 40, and then you're close to, like if you're 57, 59, level 57, 59, whatever, you can easily get through the last floor, probably by yourself. You just play it tactically enough, you can easily get through it, you know, by yourself in that sense. And, you know, that's just something I've noticed when playing this dungeon. But I think they really needed to work on the levels to make them a little more appropriate, because you go into the next set up here, and all the monsters are like level 25. Whereas like here you need to spend time grinding a bit just to get up to that level. So you're kind of comparatively that level. Like if they would have made it so that every 5 floors, you know, you only go up about 4 levels. Like the monsters only go up about 4 levels every 5 floors. Then that would probably have been a little bit better in a sense for everybody to be able to just come in here and solo it. And you wouldn't have to worry about rage, you wouldn't have to worry about strength, you wouldn't have to worry about defense. Those would be good things to get that would help you a lot. But that wouldn't be like, you need to have this to go, you know, to come in a a lower group. And even these strengths, defenses, and rages are going to help us out as a duo team. So we're probably just going to save the raging for like an oops if we get in a rage, which we are collecting items, and I just kind of let her decide to collect most of the items. I'll open up some of the treasure chests for her. Like if it blows up in my face, I don't mind, because, you know, if she's far enough away from me, it won't blow up. She needs to work on her Aether Pool weapon. I don't. I'm going to try to suggest not doing brown chests so that we don't have to fight mimics, because some mimics on some floors, we're probably not going to be up to the level that I was at doing it solo, so I won't be able to take as much damage, and if she's in a different room and I'm fighting it solo by myself, it's going to be even more hard. It's going to be a lot harder for me. Or if she's fighting it solo and she doesn't have her invisibility skills up or her evasion skills up at the time, you know, she might not be able to handle it. So that's just kind of the thing, like, we're probably going to just forget about brown chests. I guess it can drop, like, you know, they can drop some pot shards. This entire time I've been doing Deep Dungeon, and I've done it a lot. I haven't gotten a single pot shard out of a brown chest. So I don't know where I've heard this from, if people actually do get this. It would be nice to actually hear some comments, like if you actually did get a pot shard out of it. Because I haven't gotten a single one. You know, there's some games that I'll play where they'll ask you to sort of like put more money into the game so you can get something out of it. And I'm like, I don't know. And like, I don't put more money into the game to try to get something out of it. I just hope that I can get something out of it. And usually my luck is just not that good. My luck when it comes to games, that's typically when I play almost any game, I will almost never do anything that has any kind of gambling sense to it in any way. Something that possibly increases your evasion or possibly increases your critical chance, or something that possibly could, you know, do something. Any kind of gambly kind of spell to some degree, I'm going to avoid it like the plague, because it never works for me. It never helps me. Things that are guaranteed, I go for those more so. So, yeah. But if you watch this long, you've enjoyed a little bit of my commentating or ranting, whatever you want to call it. In any case, yeah, just, you know, go ahead, leave a like on the video if you like this and whatnot. This boss is super easy to kill, especially with 2 players. It's so much easier with 2 players in a sense. 4 players, he's down in like 4 seconds, maybe 3 seconds. 4 players is down in like 3 seconds. It's insanely fast, and it does kind of depend on your Aether Pool too, because I am synced, which means I'm at an appropriate level, but I'm pretty much capped at an appropriate level, so I'm as high as you can be at said level here, or whatever, you know. But yeah, this one's he's pretty simple. The next boss is going to be a little bit tougher. Next boss hits like a truck. If you come in here solo as a Dark Knight tank, he hits like a truck. Seriously, he really does. You can be a lot higher leveled and he won't hit so hard, but it really depends on your level. If you got a good level, he's not going to hit too hard. But then again, you got to stay in the dungeon and grind so much more. But this is more fun. This is more fun to come in with someone else. She was a really good sport to come in here and help me out with this. And so, you know, hopefully we can do all the rest of them. We'll finish them all up, put them on YouTube, and you can see you can come in here and do this as a 2-player mode and have fun. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Let me know whatever else you want to let me know. I don't know what else to say. All right, everybody, take it easy. I'll talk to you later.